Hello, this is your special education virtual content specialist with the lesson for Monday, March 15th. As a reminder, all of the lessons can be found on TeachHub. And for teachers, we give you the title, the focus question, the learning objectives, the standards, and the objectives for each lesson. Additionally, we provide each teacher with guidance for using the resource, including instructional and technology guidance, guidance for assessment during instruction, guidance for summarizing, and general methods of engaging with students with disabilities and multilingual learners. So let's begin. Sixth graders will be working on Unit 7, Rational Numbers, Day 5, Ordering Rational Numbers, Lesson 2. How can we compare and order rational numbers? For the introduction, it asks of students to write 5 fractions that can live between 0 and 1 on a number line. Draw the fractions in order on the number line. So the first support is to provide students with disabilities with a number line, with the left hand end being 0 and the right hand end being 1. Additionally, if they need more support, for example, they can't think of fractional values, you can provide them some fractional values, especially benchmark values, including 1/3, 2/3, 1/2, 1/4, 3/4. But you're not limited to those values. So this will allow you to assess if students can order these values correctly on the number line. So a question that you might want to prompt them with is which value will go exactly halfway between 0 and 1. That should alert them to 1/2. And then you can keep prompting them if they are struggling. So they should know that 1/4 is in between 0 and 1/2, and 3/4 is between 1/2 and 1. And then you have other values such as 1/3 and 2/3. But again, your students and yourself are not limited to these fractions. After the introduction number line process, this is where students are actually going to write out their process. And so to support them with that, here is a sample sentence starter. The process I used to place the 5 fractions in slide A in order was, and then students are going to write down what their process for the first part of the activity was. For the explore, students are to consider the numbers 1/2, 0, 1, -1, 1/2, -1/2, and -1. Order these numbers from least to greatest on a number line. As with the introduction, you should provide students with a number line. And here are just 2 general reminders for students that negative numbers come before the number 0 on a number line, and that the closer to 0 a negative number is, the greater it is. You might also want to remind students to think about the greatest and least values first. So students should know that -1 will come last, and that +1 will be on this end, as it is the greatest value out of these numbers. Students, again, are going to explain the process they took to put these fractions in order, and they're also ordering or answering which number represented the smallest number on the number line and which one represented the largest value. In this portion of the Explore, you're going to provide students with explicit instruction. The list of fractions between 0 and 1 with denominators between 1 and 3 looks like this. 0 1/1, 1/1, 1/2, 1/3, 2/3. We can put them in order like this. 0 1 is less than 1/3, which is less than 1/2, which is less than 2/3, which is less than 1/1. Now, let's expand the list to include fractions with denominators of 4. We won't include 2/4 because 1/2 is already on the list. And just in case students are not aware, 2/4 and 1/2 are equivalent fractions. So we have 0 1, 1/4, 1/3, 1/2, 2/3, 3/4, and 1/1. After that explicit instruction, students are to consider the list of fractions in order below and to expand the list again to include fractions that have the denominator of 5, and they're going to do that again to include a denominator of 6. So for the first question, students should have an answer of 0 1, 1/5, 1/4, 1/3, 2/5, 1/2, 3/5, 2/3, 3/4, 4/5, 1/1. And for the denominators of 6, we're just going to include 1/6 here and 5/6 in between here. A question that you might want to ask students is why they don't see 2/6, 3/6, or 4/6 to see if they understand that these values are here as their equivalents are already present. Here, the students are asked, do you see a relationship between a new fraction and its two neighbors? Again, we're going to support students with a sentence starter, and an example student response would be that the new fractions and its neighbors are always the numerator of a new fraction is always the sum of the two numerators of its neighbors, and the denominator of a new fraction is always the sum of the two denominators of its neighbors. And to summarize, students are to answer, how can we compare and order rational numbers? And that is it for the lesson. As always, please point to students this support video. Some additional practice, so students who are struggling can work on IXL 6th grade skill P.5. Medium level learners can work on the practice problems provided on TeachHub. And for your high learners, you can give them the problem set from Engage New York, Module 3, Lesson 6. And here are the resource citations. If you have any questions, please reach out to the virtual content specialist. Thank you.